Lonnie David Franklin Jr. Doesn't really sound like somebody you'd cross the street to avoid, does it? But the grim sleeper, now you got my attention. By the way, that's the same guy. A guy who in the mid to late 80s and then years later murdered 7, 8, then 9, eventually 10 people, all but one of them women. Some of them were teenagers. And those are just the murders that he was convicted of and for which he got the death penalty. But as is often the case with serial killers, investigators do believe there were more. The Grim Sleeper got his nickname because of a 14-year pause in his killing spree. A&E has a fascinating new series on the Grim Sleeper's reign of terror. Take a look.
Families of the slain women were worried this case would never be solved.
The detectives would come by periodically. They would ask my husband questions, but they didn't tell us anything else. No leads, nothing. We just wanted to be treated like we matter.
If they wanted to catch him, the police could have caught him. They thought of us as just crackheads, but we still was humans. We were being hunted.
I am joined now by Katherine Ramsland, author and professor of forensic psychology. Her most recent book is the one that we have right in the middle, The Serial Killer's Apprentice, available everywhere. Dr. Ramsland, I always love having you on to talk about these crazy stories, but this one I really don't understand. I don't understand why a serial killer would take a 14-year pause. I think the Golden State Killer took a big pause as well. Or did he? Did he really?
Well, we don't know that he took a pause because we really don't know about other victims he might have had. He was a sanitation worker, so he had ways to dispose of bodies that may never be found. So it's really unclear whether he actually took a pause or not.
But it seems convenient to say these things about these very, very complex and frightening people, especially with Golden State, that there were these down. Are there down moments for people like this who somehow, I don't know, see God and want to fix their ways and then realize they can't and they fall right back off the wagon?
I'm not sure about the God part. There are down moments, but I know that with Dennis Rader, for example, they thought he had taken a long period of time, but he said he just didn't succeed. It isn't that he quit. He stalked people. He thought about murder. He made plans. He just didn't succeed that we know of. And I think the same could be true of this guy. He took pictures of victims. He had over 500 pictures of women in his possession. We don't know if they're associated with anyone he murdered, but they might be, and they're good leads for a cold case team.
Well, it'd be interesting once the special, starts getting a lot of eyeballs. Maybe people will recognize some of these pictures as their long-lost loved one that they just thought, hit the streets and was missing. Speaking of the streets, is this the reason that he got away with it for so long, that he picked such marginalized community members, women who were either prostitutes or drug addicts or living on the streets and seemingly forgotten by society?
Yeah, in some cases, they were just women walking alone from work. And so they didn't have transportation. I think he viewed them as vulnerable women who were low economic means, a teenager. So I think he's just looking for vulnerable women that he thought police would not expend resources really doing much investigation. He dumped them on the street, he dumped them in alleys. In one case, it was a men's room at a gas station, killed them with a small caliber weapon or strangulation, and treated them like trash. But he had this kind of odd MO, if we can believe, if it was similar to the one survivor we know about, where he kind of set them up to have to be punished, made them be rude to him in his view, and then would shoot them because he thought they deserved it.
It's twisted, as many of the subject matters that you cover are. His name is Lonnie David Franklin Jr. He died age 67 in his cell in 2020, and interestingly, cause of death never released. Dr. Ramsland, always good to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.